brother down with Shizzywhiznut.
So, picking up where we left off the other night, this is part 2.
Very well. Let's see. Where did it was?
Just right there.
You were right. Oh, you cried to the court about needing security. Bullshit. Sure needs security from the ecosystem you helped create. Because after crying about danger, after wailing about safety, after conjuring up your invisible security force, you pivoted into the most laughable justification of them all: financial ruin. Let's go there next. And of course, because, Bruce, everything is someone else's fault. Matskin never met a self-serving narrative he couldn't weaponize. You just had to go there. Financial hardship, destitution, crippling costs. Oh, Bruce, come on. You absolute grease fire of a fucking lawyer. And I use that term loosely. You, a man who raised, and what is it now, somewhere between north of $40,000, maybe $50,000 by now, on GoFundMe, PayPal, Cash App, and every other online tin cup available, want to stand in front of a federal judge and cry broke. You, the same Bruce Matskin who spent months being personally promoted by the very anti-what-the-hell's creators who weaponize their YouTube grift factories to funnel donation money to you and your clients like a busted sewage line. It takes the path of least resistance, you know.
Yes, it just goes everywhere, all over.
Let me refresh everyone's memory, since you seem to think the court is too stupid to notice. You raised thousands in legal defense funds off the backs of lies, exaggerations, and harassment campaigns. You raised money while your ecosystem ran live stream after live stream titled, "Save the Neighbors," or "Evil YouTuber Harassing the Poor Family," all while carefully avoiding disclosing that so-called poor family was being represented by a man who can't stop acting like the dollar signs in his eyes are going to blind him. You raked in donations while your defendants, John Cook and Michelle Preston, sat in live streams, grinning like they just hit the Powerball. You collected money from people who genuinely believed you were the last line of defense against some cartoon villain, all while hiding the fact that this entire spectacle was a business model. Your business model. Let's be clear. You didn't just raise enough to cover travel. You raised enough for travel, lodging, steak dinners, and a round of drinks for your whole courtroom entourage. And apparently now there's something about some cruise boat or something people have been saying. Interesting.
Yeah. Wonder, interesting how that works.
Yeah. New phones, new computers. Huh.
So weird how that works.
Yeah. Hell, you could have booked first class to Pensacola, stayed oceanfront, and still had enough left over to buy another pair of oversized clown shoes for your next hearing. Ear. And a nice big new red bulbous nose. And a little flower that'll squirt in your face. But is it really a flower?
Is that really a flower? Did it really squirt in my face, or did it squirt in my mouth?
But now you want the court to believe that that hopping a discount flight from Boston to Florida would have financially crippled you. No, Bruce. The only thing that's financially crippling here is your credibility. Your GoFundMe wasn't about survival. It was about grifting. It was about monetizing conflict. Fucking men. You are the fuckers that you bitch about.
They are.
It was about using the federal court docket like a slot machine. Pull the lever, crank out the next filing laced with YouTube buzzwords. Sit back and watch the PayPal notifications roll in. And let's talk about how honest you've been with your donors. Oh, wait. You haven't. Have you disclosed that much of this money hasn't gone to court filing fees or emergency legal expenses, but to filing bloated grandstanding motions loaded with internet gossip, personal attacks, and things that have nothing to do with the case at hand? And I wonder if those fucktards over there have even brought up or discussed the fact that he's taken off before when the going got tough and ran to Armenia. I'm sure they probably haven't.
No, they would never talk about that.
Yeah, all that faith and backing of a fucking pussy.
Oh, yes.
You could have got it cheaper on a street corner. There's all kinds of cheaper pussy out there.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee you.
Did your donors know you were spending their money on motions so irrelevant and unprofessional the court had to threaten sanctions twice before you got the hint? Did they know you'd be spending their money not on trial preparation, but on preparation H? But that you too ready temper tantrums complaining about your polyflops prolapsing again, YouTube content mills, and your latest imaginary victimization? Of course they didn't. Because just like everything else about your defense, the financial hardship claim, it's a farce. In other words, another lie.
Oh, yes.
You've built an entire ecosystem where litigation is content, court orders are obstacles to spin, and every hearing is just another opportunity to shake that digital cup for spare change.
Might want to just shake that digital ass for spare change. Just saying.
Work that pole, throw me all your ones. And then, after gorging yourself on donation money like a starving raccoon, you have the nerve to crawl into federal court and claim property like a broke dick turtle. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. It's fraud adjacent. Oh, I'd say it's right on the mark. And if there's any justice left in that courtroom, the court is going to look at your bank statements, look at your filings, look at your donation campaigns, and hand you exactly what you've earned. Hopefully, first and foremost, some frozen bank accounts, but a financial reality check that comes in the form of cold hard sanctions. But you weren't finished humiliating yourself, were you? Because after crying broke in the middle of a self-funded carnival of grift, you still had the audacity to try and spin your online harassment of the plaintiff as his fault. You want to talk about harassment? Well, let's talk about what you and your anti-what-the-hell's cronies have really been doing. Let's talk about your sick little propaganda machine, shall we? All right, strap in, fucktards, because I'm going to let you know. Let's talk about the vile grift factory you've been running out of the back of this courtroom. And now we arrive at the beating heart of your little operation, Bubbles. The thing you try to pretend doesn't exist while benefiting from it every single day. The anti-what-the-hell's harassment machine. This isn't a courtroom strategy. This isn't law. This is a cotton industry of hate, or cottage industry of hate. Cotton. Well, somebody got to pick the cotton. Oh, I
got to pick cotton somehow. Leave me alone.
This is what you built. This is what you're tied to, whether you want to admit it in court or not. You want to cry about harassment, about being victimized. Let's take a little walk down memory lane, shall we? Straight through your own filings, where it's spelled out in black and white that your clients, their supporters, and the YouTube bottom feeders orbiting them have done everything in their power to destroy Jeremy Hale's life for money. And from your own words. Let's not forget, you admitted in filings that Michelle Preston sought to fundraise directly off of Hale's audience at the $500,000 to Grill event. She wanted to set up a donation box and pitch herself right in front of the very community she was allegedly... No, wait a minute. She was allegedly being stalked. Grifting right in front of public view. This entire case has been monetized like a true crime Netflix documentary. We have evidence of repeated fundraising efforts. Preston, Cook, and yes, you, putting out the call for donations from an audience spoon-fed narrative of victimhood. GoFundMe pages, PayPal links, Cash Apps, all lined up like slot machines waiting to pay out. Your ecosystem doesn't produce truth. It produces incontinence, bullshit, and manufactured victimhood is the product. False narratives are the marketing, and harassment is the method. And what's truly sick? You're not even subtle about it. Oh no, you and your clients have been caught bragging about your intentions, turning litigation into live stream theater, turning restraining orders into donation drives, turning family court proceedings into 7-part YouTube miniseries episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be crystal clear. This isn't about justice. This isn't about your clients' rights, because you've stated you don't even give a fuck about your clients.
No.
This isn't about safety, dignity, or respect. It's about money. It's about views. It's about content. That's why, despite your crocodile tears in front of the court about how this litigation is destroying your life, you haven't missed a beat producing it for the anti-what-the-hell's echo chamber. That's why Preston and Cook have been featured in video after video, appearing like D-list celebrities at a car wreck, waving to the same online audience they claim is destroying them. That's why Lisa Weeks, part-time professional troll and full-time embarrassment, has been caught working the background like she's running the world's saddest PR campaign, or as a fluffer, who knows. That's why Patty Plummer has been all over social media, spewing whatever lies will juice the next super chat haul. This is why you haven't chosen to be part. Wait a minute. This is why you have chosen to be part of. Jesus. This is what you have chosen to be part of, Bubbles. Jesus. This is your ecosystem. Oh, yes, it is. And after spending months sitting on top of that garbage heap, cheering it on, feeding it, enabling it, you have the gall to act shocked when the court starts to treat you like what you've become. A grifter in a cheap suit. An internet lawyer who forgot that this isn't Reddit. You don't get to scream about harassment when the very business model of your case is harassment for profit. You don't get to complain about YouTube coverage when you've benefited from every single view it generates. And you sure as hell don't get to cry poor when you rake in donation money from gullible viewers being spoon-fed lies by people who wouldn't know the truth if it jumped up and dick-slapped them in the face, or if it walked up and served them a summons. Oh, good lordy, it's a process server! And then weeble-wobble your ass to hide in a garage. You helped create this circus, Bubbles. Now the tent is collapsing right on top of your little fucking clown head. But we're not done. Oh no. Because after all of this, the grifting, the harassment, the weaponized litigation, you still had one more insult to throw at the court. This was somehow all Jeremy Hale's fault. That he was the real villain. That he was the monster stalking you. Oh, we need to talk about that next. Let's dissect your delusion, shall we? Now, that's a lot of acid to get through. Mm-hmm. Bruce? Because this is where your shameless moves from laughable to revolting. After everything. After the harassment, the defamation, the threats, the stalking, the donor list demands, the online smear campaigns, the fake bidders, the false reports, the polyflopping prolapse, the fundraising scams. You had the audacity to turn to this court and tell them that you, the architect of this sideshow, are the real victim. That Jeremy Hales is to blame for the toxic wasteland your anti-what-the-hell's ecosystem created. Let's get something clear enough to carve into the walls of this little nut house for the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
This entire harassment campaign has come from you, your clients, and the low-rent goon squad you've aligned yourself with, not from the plaintiff. Let's just look at the receipts. Your own filings and depositions are crawling with them. Your client, Michelle Preston? She wasn't content. Content. Wrong. She wasn't content with stalking Hales and his fiancée. Behavior so egregious that it earned a renewable 2-year protection order out of the Ohio for stalking. No, she went further. She demanded Hales turn over a list of his donors, the people who financially support his online content, during her deposition, screaming for it like she thought federal court was a reality show audition, or that she was back on stage, working the pole and screaming for those extra dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bills, dollar bills.
Your other client, John Cook, his harassment wasn't limited to trespass and stalking. No. He's been caught encouraging the worst kinds of defamatory filth, public threats, false accusations, offering to post obscene photos involving Hale's fiancée on social media. Signs are placed in the plaintiff's town accusing him falsely of being an Ohio rapist who assaulted a child. You sat on that. You let that happen. And you still want to pretend you'll represent the defenseless. You accused Hales of being a public menace, while your clients were literally orchestrating attacks on his online auctions by sending in fake bidders to inflate prices and then refuse to pay. This isn't speculation. This isn't some foggy allegation. This is on record. This is in the filings. This is who your clients are. And let's not forget what this whole case really is at its core. An extortion attempt dressed up like a lawsuit. Hales wasn't being sued for harming your clients. He was being targeted because he refused to give them what they wanted. Money, gifts, promotion, access to his platform. Your own filings admit this was the catalyst for their warpath. And when that didn't work, when he wouldn't play ball, when he wouldn't bow down to the Otter Creek grift cartel, they and you turned to the next best thing: harassment, litigation abuse, false narratives spun like sugar in the anti-what-the-Hales content mill. You turned every court hearing into a fundraiser. You turned every filing into a live stream talking point. You turned every order into a piece of merchandise for your YouTube-infested side hustle. And through it all, while signs went up accusing the plaintiff of unspeakable crimes, while your clients made demands for donor lists like wannabe mob bosses, while auctions were sabotaged, while private businesses were harassed, you have the staggering, almost Olympian-level gall to stand in front of this court and say, "He's harassing me." That's not just projection. That's not just deflection. That is textbook abuser behavior. And it's time the court saw it for exactly what it is. You, Bruce, are not a victim. You are a willing participant in one of the most disgraceful displays of litigation abuse and harassment for profit schemes this court has likely ever seen. Oh, I'm sure you will be going down in American jurisprudence history at some point. And after everything...
He wanted to make a name for himself.
Oh, he did. However, there's a big difference between being famous and infamous. Infamous is not really where you want to be.
No.
Because the next step in that little parade in law school is, don't be a Bruce. Don't pull a Matskin. And after everything, after all the damage, after all the lies, after all the harassment and humiliation your clients have inflicted, you still had the nerve to act like this was some noble crusade to defend the powerless. No, Brucey.
No.
This was, and always has been, about power. about control, about revenge, about making the plaintiff bleed financially because he wouldn't submit to your client's extortionate demands. Excuse me.
No, that's fine.
This is what happens when a group of losers on the internet mistake defamation for content creation, and stalking for free speech. This is what happens when a lawyer forgets that courtrooms are not comment sections. And this is what happens when you, Brucey, try to blame. Oh,
I am blaming the plaintiff.
We're going to Maximura. You try to blame plaintiff. No,
we're going to crash you.
Try to blame the plaintiff for the monster you unleashed. But don't worry, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
Because after all of this, after all the lies, the grift, the harassment, and the abuse, you still had the nerve to tell the court that this whole debacle should just go away quietly. That your withdrawal as counsel should be delayed because, oh looky, now you want to file a summary judgment motion. You want to bow out gracefully, like the man in the burning building who thinks he deserves a round of applause on the way out while leaving his hooker behind. Brucey, let's stop pretending you're a victim here. You're not some confused young attorney in over your head. You're not a rookie who stumbled into the big leagues by accident. You're not some doe-eyed counselor learning the ropes of federal court.
Or the pole.
Or let's not even pretend that this is your first time in a S&M dungeon. You've been a licensed attorney for decades. Mm-hmm. Decades of knowing better. Decades of swearing oaths that you've shit all over. Decades of practicing law that you've yet again shit all over. And this is what you've become. A whimpering, desperate shell of a lawyer, begging the court, after months of procedural vandalism, to please let me stay just a little longer. So you can file one last motion before you slink away into disgrace. Like you have before, you fucking pussy. Pathetic doesn't even begin to cover it, you fucking pussy. You want to postpone your withdrawal so you can file a summary judgment motion after spending months treating this court like it was your personal YouTube stage. After refusing to comply with court orders, postponing depositions on a whim, leaving opposing counsel scrambling while you played with your little monkey or your little power games of, I might show up, I might not. Like some weird game of hide and seek with your little Thord. Or some washed-up high school theater kid who never got over missing the lead role.
Oh.
Let's remind the court of exactly who you are, Brucey. This is the same man who terminated depositions on the fly, then whined in the court that he wouldn't be available for the date he had scheduled. This is the same man who told the court, on the record, that this case should be dismissed because it was contrived and frivolous.
So frivolous.
It's so frivolous.
It's voguing me out.
Yes. Just over the top. That's mascara even I wouldn't wear.
Well, I'd wear it up my belly button.
All while your clients were caught on video harassing the plaintiff, interfering with his business, posting defamatory signs accusing him of unthinkable crimes, and trying to extort from him $65,000 just to go away. Contrived? Oh, Brucey. The only thing contrived here is your career at this point. You don't deserve to bow out gracefully. You deserve to be shown the door, slammed shut behind you with the full weight of the court's sanctions. And let's talk about that withdrawal you're so desperate to delay. You say you want to stay long enough to file a summary judgment motion, as if that would somehow cleanse your record or justify your behavior.
No.
As if one more bloated, sarcasm-laden motion, drafted not for the court, but for YouTube grifters sitting in your audience, would suddenly rewrite history. But what history do you think you're leaving behind, Brucey? A legacy of professionalism. A reputation for sharp litigation skills. Fuck no, hardly. Your legacy, the one that's being cemented into the federal court record as we speak, is that of a bomb. Wait a minute. Is that of a bomb-throwing carnival barker who mistook a federal courtroom for a comment section. You're the lawyer who thought filing documents stuffed with conspiracy theories, defamation buzzwords, and social media paranoia was clever. You're the lawyer who thought demanding the plaintiff's donor list was good faith litigation. 42-1.
42-1.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were doing some fucked up score here. Yeah. 42-1. You've lost 42 times. You're the lawyer who thought skipping hearings.
42 inches to his one.
You're the lawyer who thought skipping hearings could be excused by crying about YouTubers filming the courthouse like it's a true crime documentary. You're the lawyer who forgot what the practice of law even was. And now, after all that, after torching your own reputation, after humiliating yourself in front of this court, after aligning with the most vile, disgusting corner of the anti-what-the-hell's ecosystem that you created, you think you should be allowed to stay and file one more motion? Oh, Bubbles. Fuck no. You don't get a victory lap, you fucktard. You don't get an encore, you mental midget. You don't get to control the narrative anymore. You earned your exit the moment you opened your cockwasher and chose to grift over ethics, or scratched your booger hooks across the keyboards and started humping everybody's leg, or harassing women, or calling people's employers. YouTube over professionalism and harassment over the law. But don't worry, we're not finished yet. Because next, we're going to drag into the light your final, most insulting lie of all, that this case was contrived. That this entire lawsuit is somehow a big bad conspiracy dreamed up by the plaintiff to hurt you. Oh no, Bubbles. This case wasn't contrived. You were. And now And now we reach the ugliest, most laughable, insulting part of this entire dumpster fire. The part where Brucey, Polyflop, I've prolapsed again, Matskins, stares the court dead in the eye and says this case, this multi-volume disaster of harassment, stalking, defamation, and extortion, was contrived by the plaintiff. Contrived. Oh, Brucey, you fucking liar. You crusty, washed-up, self-owning legal clown. Contrived. This from the same man who sat silent while his client, Michelle Preston, put in writing that she wanted $65,000 from Hales to go away. A demand the court itself didn't even hesitate to describe as extortionate conduct by the non-lawyers trying to shake down a public figure. This from the same man who agreed his clients planted signs accusing Hales of being a grapist, with zero evidence, just to drum up public hate. This from the same man who watched as Hales' online auctions were deliberately sabotaged with fake bidders, sent in to inflate prices, and refused to pay, literally interfering with his business and income streams, which, correct me if I'm wrong, would also constitute fraud. And or theft.
Yeah.
But then, I guess that would be up to a prosecutor. Contrived? Buddy, this case was not contrived. You were. Your entire strategy, even if it deserves that word, has been a grotesque performance art piece in how not to practice law, or conduct yourself as a Picasso poo painter on a rubber room wall.
Well, hey, everybody needs a rubber room. Might as well have one for Bubbles. Doesn't stop the plane from flying to Armenia.
The judge has already laid bare your antics, noting in official filings that you and your clients have spent months misusing the discovery process. Filing motions loaded with irrelevant garbage designed to waste time, abuse process, and feed the vile content machine of the anti-what-the-hell's YouTuber sewer network. That's quite the log. Let's not forget your grandstanding and depositions, terminating them midstream because you didn't like the answers, refusing to comply with scheduling orders, and generally behaving like a toddler on a sugar crash. Even your absurd attempt to avoid in-person hearings was called out by the court as meritless and sanctionable conduct. And you still had the gall, the unmitigated hubris, to tell this court you needed more time because you wanted to file a summary judgment motion after treating the court time like toilet paper. Brucey, you've been practicing law for decades. It doesn't show, but apparently decades. And this fucking carnival's sideshow is your magnum opus? A legacy of hissy fits, lies, harassment, and YouTube clickbait. This is what you've become. You are infamous. This is what you will be remembered for. You are infamous. Not as a clever attorney, not as a defender of the voiceless, but as an infamous, washed out, self-owning, walking malpractice exhibiting piece of shit. A man who mistook Twitter likes and YouTube views for legal authority. You created this monster, and then you want to sit there and cry when it turns around and bites you in the dick. You fed it. You lived inside it. Oh,
his dick.
He lived inside it, all right. He was all balls deep up in that ass.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're choking on the very filth you shoveled. You don't deserve a graceful exit.
No.
You deserve every single sanction this court drops on your head with interest. And I'm personally believing that Bubba's been alone for a very long time and deserves a new boyfriend. And when the final order comes down and your name is forever etched into the records of legal humiliation,
he can clean out the guy's belly button while he's taking care of business.
There won't be a single person outside your tiny echo chamber of grifters who will mourn your fall. No, as a matter of fact, they're going to dogpile on and fuck you dry. Because you earned every minute of it and every inch of it. Yours in documented, undisputed, fully litigated mockery. Shizzywhiznut, internet trash collector, courtroom archivist, Velcro shoe connoisseur, legal dumpster diver for hire, and still, your fucking daddy.
Oh, I just love every minute of it.
Yeah.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzywhiznut.